5-Year Mission, the podcast, episode 40.
This episode of 5-Year Mission, the podcast, is brought to you by Fansets, your home for all things pop culture pin related. Head over to fansets.com and see all that they have to offer. And also stay tuned at the end of the episode for a very special offer from us here at 5-Year Mission. Grab another White Claw and we'll get this intro out of the way.
Yeah, why don't you grab me one too?
What flavor you want? I got lemon, I got tangerine.
Mango if you have it.
And I got watermelon.
He's got country and western.
Let's do
Both kinds.
Let's do tangerine.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
There we go. All right. Real recording now?
Sure, yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Now that we've gotten a little bit of the lore out of the way.
Do you want the pop tab on?
Perfect. I'm gonna open mine in the middle of the interview fucking anyway, so. It's like, hey, we've been drinking. It's fine.
Yeah, we're sloshed. Sitting in a comic book store talking about Star Trek.
Drinking White Claw.
Uh-huh.
There ain't no law.
Exactly what I thought I'd be doing in my adult years.
The week you're moving to Atlanta.
Exactly how I envision.
Moving on to bigger and better things, and you're sitting in a comic book store talking Star Trek.
No, are you kidding? This is it, man. This is what I signed up for. This is what I want to do.
Are you dissing my everyday life right now?
Yes. Always. Constantly. Behind your back.
Welcome to 5-Year Mission, the podcast.
What are you doing? This is not your fucking job.
Is this the most Mike has ever talked?
Hosted by a band called 5-Year Mission.
You're stepping on my lines, Rittenhouse, and I'm not gonna fucking have it.
As usual, I'm your host, Andy Fark.
Whoa. Wow.
With me, as usual, is the ever brilliant Mike Rittenhouse.
Hey.
Rittenhouse.
Hey.
Yeah, Zain.
Hey, don't step all over the guest until we haven't had a chance to introduce him yet. You're not fucking professional. I'm not having it. Glad I edit this podcast myself so I can bleep out all my curse words. So anyway, we're here tonight. We're continuing this thing on where we're talking to local comedians and hopefully they haven't seen Star Trek before, and tonight's guest lives up to that promise. With us tonight, we have Indianapolis comedian right now. As of the time this podcast is released, he's going to be an Atlanta comedian. Ooh, man, he's heading down to the dirty South. Ladies and gentlemen, Zain Zaidi.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Glad you can come on and talk about a subject you know shit about.
I'm happy to do it. I mean, you could have picked any subject and chances are I wouldn't know shit about it.
True.
I don't know much about anything, so it's perfect.
Well, we had Joe Bates on before, which I know you know.
Uh-huh.
And he did not know a damn thing about Star Trek. Mm-hmm. So you're following in Joe Bates's weird giant footsteps.
I mean, was he able to, was he interested enough in the episode that he started watching it after?
No.
Okay.
No, he told us beforehand he'd gotten through maybe 2 seasons of Next Generation and then just stopped watching.
Okay.
And then just for the episode that he was on with us, he went back and watched one single episode of the original series and hasn't done a thing since because he's so busy living the life in New York now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the New York comedian, basically Jerry Seinfeld now.
Right?
Making his daily post on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I think he's on day 84 now. I mean, it's probably him on his cell phone.
What are you? Are you in Castaway? Why are you? Is he befriending a volleyball yet? Why is he why is he counting off all the days? He's in a big city.
I'm honestly thinking he's making all those day whatever in New York posts for on his cell phone, standing outside the Comedy Cellar, begging Dave Attell for a spot.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
I mean, that's obviously how it works.
That's how you come up in this business.
He's doing it in between barista shifts.
He's definitely not a barista. I'll tell you that much. He's city planning.
He's more of a juice mixer, not a.
That's why they call him Jamba Joe. So we invited Zain on here tonight to talk about an episode of the original series, which we always love to do. Am I clipping? Is that why you're...
You don't have to be right up on
All
it.
right.
It's not a dig.
So anyway, we're here tonight to discuss the episode, oh man, about some Zayon pigs, I guess maybe a planet of alt-right terrorists, I guess we could talk about.
Yep.
So yeah, we're talking about, I almost said Balance of Terror. We're here to talk about the episode Patterns of Force, which everybody knows is the infamous Nazi episode. And when I gave Zane the options of what episodes he could watch, I said you can either do an episode about Nazis or Kirk having to fight a giant lizard, and Zane immediately said, oh, Nazis definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially someone that's never watched Star Trek, I feel like that'd be an easy that'd be like an easy foot in the door. You know, that'd be an easy way to at least get me excited to watch the episode.
Well, to me, it's basically current events.
Exactly. So. Yeah. I mean, if there was like a corollary, you know, involving like giant lizards and that was happening in the news right now, then I might have went with that one. But
I mean, like if there were currently like Gila monsters taking over the Middle East right now, you'd probably want to be all over that.
Exactly. Yeah. Then I would have hopped on that episode.
That's current and fresh. So basically, let me just do quick little synopsis. Basically, Kirk gets the entire Enterprise, not just Kirk. I've been drinking White Claws, everybody. So
he's sloshed.
Speaking of which, so yeah, basically the entire Enterprise goes. They have to save some general because there was a distress call. And he's been there for too long. Haven't heard from him, and they go down there. Turns out the planet's just filled with Nazis, and they're trying to kill. Like, I guess what the equivalent would be like the planet of the Jews?
The Zayons. The Zayons, yeah.
And so basically they have to figure out why all this went down. Turns out the commander from Starfleet had been just drugged and made into a Nazi figurehead. And it was the actual Nazis. They were like, yeah, death to Zayon. We're going to come and blow your shit up. Yeah. And Kirk's like, nah, brah. And then you get to see shirtless Spock getting whipped, and his green blood coming out with all his chest hair.
That's right. I love the special effects in that scene. It was, I think they just like took lipstick.
Yeah.
And drew it
obviously.
On. Yeah. Like they didn't even try, like not even fake blood.
No. It's just marks. It's just welts.
Yeah.
So yeah, they figure out that they can finally wake up the general after Bones beams down and also has to dress as a Nazi.
Yep.
And
Bones. Dr. Bones. The doctor, right?
It's Dr. McCoy. His just nickname is Bones.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Let me push up my glasses on you.
Well, actually.
I mean, we are in a comic book store right now.
Yeah, I mean...
Hero House Comics, 1112 Prospect Street in Indianapolis, Indiana. Heart of beautiful Fountain Square.
I'm sure the phrase "well, actually" is uttered many a times here.
Oh, just in this general
times a day.
Spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually...
Dickhead.
Set you up for that one.
I know. So basically, finally, they get the Nazis to see the error of their ways after they said all the things are exposed. Yeah. And Zayons are finally free to be Zayons again. That's basically it. So,
yep.
So, being that this was the 1960s, were you expecting a storyline like this to take place basically like, what is it, like 14 years after World War II?
Like 20 years.
20 years, okay, yeah.
Well, World War II ended in what, like the mid-40s? Like
something along those lines.
45 or something?
Something.
And then...
So about 20 years.
Yeah, about 20 years. Yeah, like I was looking up, apparently this episode was banned in Germany.
Yeah.
Up until, like, recently.
Yeah, it's still a very sensitive topic.
Yeah, yeah. And even, like, so... What it was interesting because the guy, what's his name, the Hitler, the guy that was supposed to be like the Hitler,
the one that was drugged,
right? Drugged Hitler. What was his name?
Hitler.
He was like a professor, right? He was Kirk's professor
at Starfleet Academy. Yeah.
It was whatever his name is. It doesn't matter. But he said because they asked him like, why'd you do this? Mm-hmm. Why'd you break the prime directive, whatever that means you don't interfere, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like learning all this shit on the fly.
Do no harm, basically. Don't interfere.
You don't interfere
don't
with other alien civilizations.
Yeah.
Let them do them.
Let them develop naturally. Yeah.
But so they asked him, and he said something along the lines of how like fascism is the most efficient form of government.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Like, does that reflect the views of the creator of the show? Like,
absolutely.
Does he believe that fascism is like the most efficient form of government, that the Nazis just fucked up fascism?
Basically, it was more a lot because I mean, with the Nazis, it was supposed to be like the national. They called it like the National Socialist Party or whatever.
Yeah.
And people to this day, still, if you read the comments in news sections, I mean, it's always like, oh, that's just socialism, and people always equate that to the Nazi Party because socialism was in their name.
Yeah.
And so basically, I think they weren't quite clear. I don't think Gene Roddenberry was quite clear on that, where he was just like, fascism was really efficient, but it's like, nah, I think you meant socialism was very efficient.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if they used the word fascism in the episode. Maybe this, yeah. But it was like something along those lines, and that was eye-opening because it's basically saying, they would have gotten it right if they didn't, end up just killing all those Jews.
If it wasn't for all the Nazi shit.
Yeah, if it wasn't for all the Nazi shit, they would have actually been good.
Yeah, well, I think it was like, basically with like Hitler, he was so influential, he could get an entire country to like do what he wanted, like his whim, because like they rose to power so fast, and they were just taking Europe over and trying to take over part of Asia. I think it was just more the efficiency, more than like the ideals of Hitler.
Right, because he said
he was talking about.
Because I mean, they went from like a poor economy, just completely collapsed, country. Yeah, and within years they were like on the verge of being world leaders. Domination. Yeah. So I guess fascism is not
so bad.
Not so bad.
It's efficient.
See, fascists aren't so bad. They're efficient.
Damn you, Bernie Sanders.
That's the takeaway of the episode, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was the 60s. They were also like open minds.
So they called the oppressed group Zayons, which there's an obvious. Obviously they got it from Zion, right? Mm-hmm. Why? I wish they would have named, what was the oppressors, what were they called? Please look it up, Mike. Starts with an E.
Yeah.
Why is it?
Ecosians.
Ecosians, that's right.
Ecosians, yeah.
Wow, good memory, Zane.
Yeah, well, I just watched this.
Okay, yeah.
I also watched it today, and I can't remember it, so.
I watched it like 4 times over the past week, and I still can't remember Ecosians. I blame White Claw.
I wish they would have made like a more obvious, I wish they would have been called like the Krauts or something.
The Spotsies.
Yeah.
Wink.
Or like the Schnitzels.
The Schnitzels. Haschengrubers.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I don't know. Maybe there's like Ecosian means something in German. I don't know.
There's got to be some story behind it, how they came picking that name, because I mean, like the Zayons were so almost like spot on. It was like a little on the nose. Yeah, it was all they had like pigs. Zayons all had like the underground group of like infiltrators and everything like that, which obviously we've all seen Glorious Bastards, so we know that there were infiltrators, according to Quentin Tarantino, at least. Yeah, and the infiltrators in the episode, that offered up a nice little twist. So it was the woman, the Nazi soldier. Doris. Yeah. Who'd basically like turned in her own father. Yeah. As a ploy at that. As a I mean, hey, if I could ever turn in my own father for, even as a not a ploy, just for war crimes, I think we would. Yeah. I mean, how many war crimes has your dad committed? I mean, none that I know of, but that you know of. I'd have to look into that. But I'd have to get a real big family tree going for that one. Yeah. But yeah, it was
Interesting episode. Also, probably the only Star Trek episode I'm ever going to watch. So,
well, you're not going to continue on?
Maybe if maybe if there's nothing else on TV, like if Netflix takes everything off.
Yeah.
And my HBO Go gets canceled and I have like literally no other option for entertainment. Maybe I'll watch Star Trek.
Or maybe,
but even then, I'll probably just like play Angry Birds on my phone.
Or if you maybe you get wistful about Indianapolis and remember your time here in the comic book store, maybe you'll go back because there's also more episodes where like the Federation screwed up and messed up the Prime Directive, and they had to go back. Like, what's the mobster episode?
Piece of the action. So some member of Starfleet left behind a book, and the entire planet went to like 1920s mobsters.
Really?
So yeah, you get to see like Kirk and Spock in like pimp suits and everything, driving like Model Ts around and stuff, and like, listen here, see.
And they actually talk like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're always talking about like the screws and like getting the heaters and all this stuff. So yeah, this isn't the only episode where like a book has basically changed the trajectory of an entire planet.
Okay.
It's the weirdest trope that they could have gone with.
So is that what happened? Like a book meaning like, so this guy, the professor, took a book to this planet. Well, no, he just had the knowledge and he just kind of taught them. Gotcha, yeah. But literally in the episode of A Piece of the Action, it was literally a book called like Gangs of the 1920s or something.
Okay. Chicago.
Gangs of Chicago. Because it takes place basically in the entire planet is Chicago. Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
All right.
The planet of Chicago. The windy planet.
The windy planet. Do you realize how many shootings there were this weekend in the planet of Chicago? Again, going back to news comment sections. Which is real weird.
So does every planet that they visit... I'm assuming they visit like a different planet each episode, right? Yeah. Like for the most part?
Mostly, kind of, sort of.
So does every planet, do they just speak like clean American English?
Well, that is due to the universal translator, which for the viewing audience, everybody speaks English. But once they beam down, it's all like the alien planet's language is automatically translated into English for the crew.
Why? Because they have like something implanted in their heads that
it's like it's in their comm badge, mainly. But they didn't want to mess with the audio like that in the '60s. So.
That's what a convenient.
It's a whole workaround.
Loophole. Yeah.
I mean, they went back and retconned that in like a later series, like the one we were talking about beforehand, Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, they didn't really explain it in the '60s.
Okay,
there was no need. Yeah. Which somebody pointed out on Twitter a few days ago, so basically Captain Picard on Next Generation was French, but he spoke in a British English accent. Yeah. So anytime there's an episode focused on Picard, basically that is all being translated from French, we're assuming.
Into British English.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Which was weird because when I lived overseas, every single person that I knew spoke in like a British accent, no matter where they were from.
Yeah.
Weirdest goddamn thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's even like in the part of the world that I'm from, they teach like British English. So
Indiana?
Yeah, well, I'm from Pakistan. My parents are, at least, and they like, if you talk to people in English there, they'll have a British accent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was because of colonizers, though.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, I don't know. It's also... Yeah, it's probably that.
It's definitely that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, now, with this episode, this kind of dealt with, like, obviously, like, a lot of, like, semi-recent events in the world, and like early Star Trek was known for like kind of tackling like controversial topics.
So I heard the guy wrote like a scene that was like super controversial. It was like the first time a white man and like a black woman kissed on camera.
Yeah, that was for Plato's Stepchildren. It was the time Kirk and Uhura shared an interracial kiss on national television.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is groundbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, they did that a lot because there was like they tackled the hippies in the episode "The Way to Eden," which is hilarious if you just want something goofy to watch.
Racism
and a lot of things with "Let This Be Your Last Battlefield" because it was the people that were white on the right side and black on the left fighting against the people that were black on the right side and white on the left.
Okay, that's interesting.
So yeah, they tackle a lot of racism, war, things like that. Like, were you kind of surprised to see them like going just like this hard against Nazis, like so close to the recent past?
I mean, I wasn't surprised because like I don't know. I feel like a lot of especially like American entertainment was fueled by propaganda. Yeah, and the Nazis are like an easy enemy. I don't think there was anything that controversial about the episode other than, I mean, it was jarring to see like
actual Nazi regalia.
Like, yeah, William Shatner running around with like a swastika on his
shirt, and Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock, but considering they're both Jewish.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah. They're both Jewish?
Yeah.
But
the actors, not the characters.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, he wasn't like Vulcan. Spock wasn't like Vulcan Jewish.
Yes.
Half Vulcan, half human, all Jewish.
L'chaim.
Yeah, like it's like movies in the 80s and even the 90s like vilify Russians and so I feel like it's kind of along those same lines, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, like basically all the Die Hard and Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah,
more or less.
right.
Germans are always bad. Russians are always going to be bad.
Yeah.
So
but the
unless
one,
it's ballet.
Yeah. So the one like the only thing about that episode that really like raised my eyebrows is the thing that I mentioned was that he like said fascism is the most efficient form of government.
Right.
Which, like, I don't know.
Which I think that was also like the time frame that they wrote in because they couldn't really do all kinds of research with that. But
it was just unexpected. I didn't expect. I would have thought like I thought he would have been like, yeah, they drugged me, bro. Right. They drugged me into being Hitler. I'm being blackmailed or something. They have like some dick pics that I don't want to get out, and so I told them I'd be their Hitler. Like, I didn't think it was because he believed in fascism.
I volunteer as Hitler tribute, basically. Yeah.
I thought fascism would work, but it got out of control.
So what would give you that idea?
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, he's like, I guess even historians don't learn from history.
It's like, how could you not learn that fascism was not the way to go, considering
Well, I guess
what happened along the way?
So you're saying that this show, that iteration of the show is set in, you said like 2300?
2260s.
2260s, okay. Yeah. So that would have been like 200 years after the fact. After like Nazi Germany.
300 years,
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe 300 years is enough. Maybe that's like enough of a...
enough time for the wounds to heal.
Yeah. Or just like maybe that's like a acceptable amount of time to like forget. You know?
Well, yeah, the whole like tragedy plus time equals comedy thing.
Yeah. So maybe to them it just wasn't that deep. Like,
which the line...
The Holocaust was just like... It was so in the past that they were just like cracking jokes about it and stuff.
Which is basically now. Which, I mean, well, especially if you're carrying around a torch and marching through Virginia.
Yeah. So you're trying to compare it to like sort of the current climate.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I often do.
Okay, so let's dive into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, you start. I'm fine.
I mean, it would have been easier to like draw comparisons if the people in the episode had like literal tiki torches,
right?
And, you know,
Which they actually, in the newest Star Trek, well, second newest, I guess now, since Lower Decks premiered, in Star Trek Discovery, one of the opening scenes in like the first season, the Klingons are basically like, oh, the Federation's here. We're not going to take them trying to take over. We have to keep Kronos.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like
the Giro planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they're like basically like you can picture them wearing like a red make Kronos great again hat.
Oh, okay.
It is ridiculous.
This is when did that episode come out?
Oh man, this was like what, 2017?
Okay.
Something along those lines.
Like that, yeah.
So well, Trump was still in office.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah,
it
was like that was the exact correlation that everybody was making.
Even if that episode came out like before, I wouldn't be surprised, because like that whole sentiment, like wasn't Reagan's slogan, I think, was "Make America Great Again."
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was definitely using that. But.
So like these like sort of right wing, especially like a right wing populist, like nationalist type of person is gonna always gonna like show reverence to the past.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Given props, if you will.
Give it props. Yeah.
Yeah.
Props to the
As
past.
the kids say. As the kids in the 80s would say, I guess, really.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. That's what that's what young Republicans would say. Props to the past.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like Star Trek has always been known for like tackling like political issues, but disguising it as like sci-fi.
Yeah,
And that was one of the great things that Gene Roddenberry did. Like in the 60s, he was like taking on like the Vietnam War, and he was taking on racism, and he wanted to really tackle gay rights, but the networks would not let him.
Oh,
well,
okay.
because obviously you know who George Takei is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
was he in those?
He was
the 60s episodes.
Yeah, George Takei is one of the main characters. He was Sulu on the original series.
Okay.
And like
I know him more from just like Twitter. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great that he's had such a resurgence.
Yeah.
Like him, like he and his husband Brad are just like beautiful people. We've talked to him multiple times. And they're like George never remembers this. Brad always does.
Yeah.
He was like, these are the boys that wrote you the birthday song a few years ago. And they're like, oh, that's right. I almost forgot. It's wonderful.
George needs to tune into the podcast.
I've attempted to get a hold of him to try to get him on here, but so far we've only been able to get like 3 Star Trek alum on here now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's busy.
Or 2 or 3.
Oh, who?
We had
Name drop.
Billingsley.
John Billingsley, who played Dr. Phlox on Star Trek Enterprise.
Okay.
We had the Okudas.
The Okudas, which I told you about earlier, that designed the like touchscreen things in Next Generation.
Okay.
And now, well, you might know them more for their work on Space Force. They did all like the screens on Space Force on Netflix with
Steve Carell.
With Steve Carell.
Okay,
yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's great.
Okay.
You should watch it. And then for All Mankind, which is on Apple TV now, they did all like the graphics for that.
Do you think Space Force has a Prime Directive?
I think they probably do.
Like the actual Space Force that exists?
Oh no, absolutely not.
You don't think they have a Prime Directive?
Well, considering that Mike Pence was their biggest cheerleader, and we're from Indiana, you know better that they don't have a Prime Directive.
Their Prime Directive is to like
keep gays out of space.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure our friends in the organization Gays in Space probably would rally against.
Yeah. Their prime directive is probably get them.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
See, Zane, anybody can be funny.
Yeah, it's true.
This is what he was trying to do with Joe. He was trying to out comedy Joe.
Okay, so you just invite people onto your podcast and then antagonize them. You try to be competitive with them and then just you try to one up your guest. Is that?
As Mike stares like a gargoyle.
No comment.
That's any questions?
See, it's a little harder than it looks, isn't it, Mike? Mike Rittenhouse.
Get why don't you go ahead and get a tight 5 together and then come talk to Zane.
A what?
A tight 5.
Oh. I got you.
It's comedy lingo.
No, I get it.
No, listen. There's no need to compete.
I've seen I'm dying up here. I know what it means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He knows.
I don't.
I've died many times on stage. I guess in that sense, I'm a Buddhist. I've died and been born again.
So many times.
I've been reincarnated many times doing comedy.
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. So basically, you're like the reincarnated red shirt of the Star Trek world.
Oh, you're trying to
See, I had to bring it
You
back.
have to bring it back?
See?
Are we not allowed to go off on tangents?
Oh no, you could absolutely go on,
Okay.
off on tangents. Absolutely go off on tangents. Actually, let's go ahead and switch gears. I think we've covered a lot about this episode.
We don't have to. I just wasn't sure. I don't know.
No, because I'm always fascinated with the comedy world. Like I'm still working on my own Type 5, but it fucking sucks so far. I'm still trying to get to that point where I can go do an open mic and get like stared at, basically.
You're like funny and like nerdy, and I feel like you could have. I feel like you at least would have like a niche.
I could probably get into the whole like Steven Vincent Giles world.
Sure, yeah.
He's got the whole Dungeons and Dragons things covered. I think I could probably cover the Star Trek world.
Yeah, so would you write jokes specifically about like nerd shit?
No.
Okay.
So far, I basically have shit about my kids and like living with my last name.
Okay. Fark.
Yeah. Imagine that.
See, that's like that's the name itself is funny.
Well, basically growing up with the last name Fark and a stutter. Yeah. Imagine the amount
I didn't know you had a
amount
stutter.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were Andy Fark.
Exactly. Yeah, and now I've of course, passed that on to both of my kids, and my son also inherited my stutter.
Oh, no.
So basically I fucked both of my kids, but not in the arrestable way.
But also, if you pushed your kids into going into comedy, they could use that stutter as like a benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes them stand out. It gives them something to talk about.
Because what's the one comedian with the stutter right now?
Drew Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he uses that to his advantage constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say advantage, but he utilizes his stutter. He accepts his stutter and like uses it like a power.
Yeah. So how'd you overcome your stutter?
I haven't.
You haven't? You haven't stuttered once.
Oh no, I definitely have.
You've stuttered?
I think I notice it more than anybody else does.
Have you noticed it, Mike?
Oh yeah, he does it constantly.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't noticed it a single time.
No, I went through a lot of speech therapy, and plus it's usually like it only comes out in like certain situations where especially if I have to deal with somebody that's like an over talker, like somebody that keeps like constantly interrupting, and I kind of want to like get something out as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, you've heard me do that before.
Yeah, like
and it's awful.
I mean, I'm assuming it comes out when the pressure's on the most, when you have the most pressure on you, and like if somebody's not giving you like letting you talk, that's gonna put more pressure on you to get a word in edgewise, and then
it's just
yeah.
I see. I can't even imitate my own stutter. It just always comes out as blah 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 blah. And I know that's not what it sounds like. It's basically Porky Pig, but like a slightly more attractive.
Slightly. I mean, just slightly.
One bug keep on going on the microphone and my glasses.
I know.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. So where was I going to go before we started going off on that? Let's talk about the comedy world a little bit, because I like how long have you been doing stand up?
Like 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've been
like 10 years on and off.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Like what? Like now, when you say on and off, was it just like, why did you take your breaks?
Just because I hated doing it. And was it more so because of like the reactions you were getting, and you were like, I can't do this, or like I get it happens. I'd say like maybe once or twice a year where I just get sick of all my jokes.
Okay.
And then the way I respond to that is it can either be positive in that it motivates me to write more and like new shit, or
it's
like,
just like a fuck this shit kind of thing.
Exactly. The opposite has also happened where I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna do this. So it can go either way. It's
but now in those like I can't do this type things when you're on your little breaks. I like that I'm like minimizing it on your little breaks.
My little
you
like
know,
I'm
your little
punching out
breaks.
like it's a lunch break.
Right. It's like I'm on hiatus. Like when you
I'm gonna go eat my sandwich. Please leave me be.
I got this Ziploc bag full of Cheetos and carrot sticks, and this is my happy place right now.
Yeah.
Like what brought you back from like those little
what brings
breaks?
me back is that I have no other skills. So it's like I have to come back. If I want to feel productive in any way, this is the only thing in my mind that I can do at this moment. Because I'm also pathologically lazy. I probably could learn a new skill, like learning how to podcast or learning how to like, I don't know, code in HTML or whatever the new languages are.
Whatever the kids are doing these days. You know?
I could probably learn that shit, and I probably should, but I'm lazy. Stand-up is very accessible. I can just go to an open mic. I can sign up. I get booked. People put me on their shows, and it... and so, like I get... It scratches that itch of, like, feeling that need to do something productive. Right. I don't know... I feel like I just threw out like a jumble of words in that last sentence.
No.
Did that make sense? Okay.
Because I'm always wondering like what motivates somebody to do stand up, because I mean obviously it could be a real boner killer on like the nights where you just like bomb.
I literally so one time a girl, this is like when I first started, I think it was, I lived in Minneapolis for a little bit, and I was one of the first shows that I did there, like a booked show. I invited some girl that I'd met at a bar.
Oh no. And
she came to the show. Obviously, like I did so bad that when I got off stage, she had left. Like she was gone.
You bombed so bad you lost the possibility of getting laid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if there was any possibility of getting laid, but I lost the possibility of even like talking to her.
Wow.
So
like, but like, what motivates you to like hop back on the horse, so to speak? Like,
I mean, like, you know, your passion in things like ebbs and flows for most people, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and music too. I mean, obviously with us, we've had bad shows where we're like, that sucked. We definitely have to do better next time.
Yeah.
Or it takes us 2 or 3 years to finally start writing songs again.
Right.
So like, yeah, I mean, it's I try to just be persistent. You know, even when I'm not feeling like any like type of way about it.
Right.
I try to just like show up and do it.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know. Sometimes that's a good idea. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's okay to just stay at home. Like, that's what I'm, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to like teach myself or to get more comfortable with is, you know, with stand up, there's like a lot of FOMO because there's a lot of, and on any given night, you could be out at an open mic, you could be doing somebody's podcast, you could be doing something.
Right.
But, you know, you don't have to be doing something every single night. Like,
yeah, you could be home writing, you could be home just relaxing, whatever.
Exactly.
But you could be getting material from wherever.
Yeah, and you need life experiences to get material.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of my jokes are just like some random bullshit that happened to me on a night out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so that's important too.
Like, do you have
Be
like
well-rounded, kids?
Do you have like a favorite bit that you do in your act that like was just from like just the weirdest, one of the weirdest experiences like that you had, like even like in this city or wherever?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I talk about a night where I hung out with the Indiana Pacers. And I
don't think I've heard this one.
I met them they were at like a bar, and I snuck into like their VIP section and just like hung out with them all night.
Was it Kilroy's downtown?
No, it was this ratchet place called Bartini's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. This is great. It's like just a seedy, gross club. Like
Yeah.
I saw somebody get finger banged there once. Like it's like on the dance floor, so it's gross.
Oh,
it's that
God,
type of place.
standing up?
Yeah.
Jeez. That's a ballsy move.
Yeah. So yeah, like that stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
I saw them, hung out with them. Went back to Paul George's condo that he was living at the time, and I heard one of the guys like come. I think it was Danny Granger. I heard him just like bust a nut and moan. So
It's like, that dude's 6'7". You know he has ropes.
yeah, exactly. Like I would have never had that experience had I been, you know, like
Sitting
at
at home
home
on your ass.
writing. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on like staying home at writing, but
Right.
I'm just that's like an example of I happen to be at the right place at the right time and I got material out
The
of it.
right
so.
shitty bar at the right,
Yeah.
right random ass time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, it was crazy. I hopped in a cab with them.
Weird.
Like, I lied to them. I said I worked for the Pacers, like I was in like in their marketing division or something.
I'm
And-
real low level. You know, it's fine, guys.
Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, word? Okay, cool." They didn't even like ask any follow-up questions. They were just like, "Oh,
That's even weirder.
word?" Yeah.
God. Yeah, because there's stuff like that with like being in a band and stuff. It's like you can either, especially out of town shows, where like you could either go back to your hotel room and
Yeah.
rest up from having like a long hour-long sweaty show, or you can go and socialize in room parties, especially if it's like at a convention.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to see a furry three-way one time.
Oh.
By
There you go.
accidentally opening a door, thinking it was another room party that would have
Yeah.
another specialty drink in it. But no, I walked into a wolf, a squirrel, and a lion, all having the weirdest position of three-way sex I've ever seen in my life.
See, and how rewarding was that?
I got to draw a diagram on a first date with an ex-girlfriend of
There you go.
what I saw.
So,
And then she framed it and hung it on her wall.
so had you not been at that convention, it never would have happened.
Right. Had it not been for Star Trek, I never would have had this life experience of seeing
Exactly. Your friend wouldn't have a picture of furries
having a three-way.
having a three-way.
Like a weird David Lynch movie. But now you also do, I mean, we're going to stay on the comedy thing, obviously.
Sure,
here.
yeah.
Because
Whatever you want to talk about.
No, I mean, I love talking about stand-up comedy. And I'm sure some people probably would,
Mike
too.
hates it.
Oh, Mike doesn't give a shit.
I can see Mike going into gargoyle mode right now.
He's always in gargoyle mode. See?
He breaks out of it every now and then.
He has his moments. He just has to
There you go.
Yeah? Good smile?
I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So that we stop talking about him.
Right. Yeah, let's focus on Mike.
Yeah.
I am not that exciting.
No.
Are you related to Kyle Rittenhouse?
He shot a pedophile in the hand.
It took me a minute to think of who you were referring to.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am not.
I was going to
Okay.
say, after all the shit that has been talked about, he's a hero. He
Speaking
shot a
of Nazis,
pedophile. Right.
Speaking of Nazis,
His
wow,
mom
look
drove
at
him
that.
over state lines with illegal guns to go shoot protesters.
Yeah.
Who's Kyle Rittenhouse? Jesus, Mike.
I didn't
I mean,
say
he was
who's
like a-
Kyle Rittenhouse.
He was a hot household name for like a hot second.
And then he skipped bail.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten about him until I met Mike, because you introduced until I learned your last name at least.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like a month there where I had to
Yeah.
explain to people that
That was your,
I'm
like,
not his uncle.
two
I didn't
minutes of
drive
fame.
my nephew across state lines to shoot at people of color.
yes.
how dare they go against our rightful president?
No relation.
Which I'm sure was probably basically your slogan for like
Yeah.
a month there. No relation.
Kyle Rittenhouse, I feel like he could be in a Kojin.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
He was totally Nazi light. At least. Him and his weird ass mom.
Yeah. He didn't even end up going to prison, did he?
No, he got out on bail,
he
and
got out,
then underage went and hung out and drank in a bar and took photos and signed autographs.
Oh, great.
Which, you know,
Kyle.
which is a normal thing when you shoot somebody in front of the police.
How does that make you feel that he's the most famous Rittenhouse?
Is he the most famous Rittenhouse, do you think?
Is he?
Well,
I don't know.
isn't there a race, like a NASCAR driver with the last name Rittenhouse?
I don't know.
I swear there is.
Another racist.
I mean,
Well, a different kind of racist, I guess.
David Rittenhouse invented the observatory.
Who gives a shit? Nobody looks at stars.
I'm the most
certainly
famous
not.
Rittenhouse.
Certainly not people that run a Star Trek podcast.
True. The only podcast hosted by a band called 5 Year Mission. Anyway, you also do character work in the monthly show here in Indianapolis and now Los Angeles. Thank you, Isaac Landford. Called An Evening with the Authors. But then you're also doing a show before you move to Atlanta this week. Called
that's right.
Squabble, which is all improv, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when it comes to like your stand-up chops, I guess, or your joke writing, does like improv or character work ever like influence that?
Yeah. The thing I like about Isaac's show, the author show, is it forces you to write like in a different perspective, and I feel like that informs my perspective, if that makes any sense. Like,
okay.
Like,
Hey, well, 1 second. I just want to explain what Evening with the Authors is.
Sure.
Basically, an Evening with the Authors is fake authors, and they're coming on to like an NPR type show, and they're promoting fake books that they've written.
Right.
And so it's a lot of character work that you have to kind of get into the headspace of. The last one I saw you at.
Way to ruin it, Andy.
What? That's not ruining. That's like promoting.
That's the premise of the show.
That's the exact premise of the show.
Broke the fourth wall and just completely explained everything, and now...
No, that's the premise of the show that they explained beforehand. That's like promoted on the website for An Evening with the Others, and there's also podcasts available on Spotify and
that's not
iTunes.
That's not a
It's
spoiler.
not a secret.
That's not like a spoiler. They don't...
You've even been to a couple.
Yeah, and that was my favorite part, was that everyone was pretending
So
like
you
it
thought
wasn't fake.
you went to the show and thought they were all real authors?
Yeah.
And
So if you were to
so
go,
Andy just ruined it. So you thought they were real until Andy just said they were fake.
What?
you thought people that live in this neighborhood that you see on a regular basis were all of a sudden just like
Writing books.
this weird. Yeah, there's they have books on the side that you didn't know about.
I mean, Isaac he did have a pull list.
Did. Isaac now lives in Los Angeles and has abandoned us, just like Joe Bates abandoned us for New York, and now Zain is abandoning us for Atlanta.
I'm abating. Abating and
Abating.
yep.
okay.
Papa's on the lam.
Yeah.
Daddy's got to go.
Edit point there.
So yeah, authors are fake authors.
The Evening with the Authors. The last time I saw you at An Evening with the Authors, you were a Confederate statue that had been torn down.
Yep. A defaced Confederate monument. Yep.
Yes, with like Black Lives Matters,
Yeah.
graffiti and
Dicks on my face.
dicks on your face, pigeon shit all over you.
Pigeon shit. A noose around my neck.
Now,
Yeah. The whole 9 yards.
Now, when it came to like writing that backstory for something like that, like what kind of weird ass headspace did you have to go into to write as a statue?
So I actually attempted that character a couple of months before I actually did it, like on a previous author show. And I had to back out of the show because like the night before the show, I had written a bunch of stuff for that character because it was going to be like a Confederate soldier, basically. But the morning of the show, the morning that I was supposed to perform that later that night, I looked at what I'd written and I was like, okay, this is like low key racist. So I don't think I should do this. And I'm probably just going to back out of the show now because I didn't have anything.
Right.
So then, so yeah, I let like a couple of months pass and then I revisited and I decided to do it from the angle of like it's a statue. What do you call it? What do you call it when something is like when an inanimate object like talks, like
Anthropomorphized.
Yeah, sure. So, like, I basically decided to anthropomorphize a statue.
After 3 White Claws, I still remember the word.
And so, the character was, I was talking from the perspective of the statue and not the Confederate soldier. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wasn't like, so I was coming from a place of like, I'm just a statue. What the fuck did I do? Why am I getting torn down and defaced?
Why am I literally getting shit on?
Yeah, why am I getting shit on? Why are they drawing dicks on me? I didn't do anything. If anything, I'm a slave too. I didn't want to be here. I was forced to... I was like forced to sit outside, weather the elements, and...
Yeah. Throughout all these years, I've seen history.
Exactly. So... That's with authors and with like comedy writing. As soon as you find that angle, like then the floodgates just open. Then like as soon as I found that like one little angle, then I could like go deeper into it and dive further into it. Because like before, I didn't think I had because I was writing from the perspective of the actual the soldier.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Like I was in the war. I don't know what y'all are so mad about. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like I mean nobody wants to. Nobody wants to hear an actual Confederate soldier.
Right.
Nobody wants that. So.
And then segue to that. Now with like Star Trek stories, they would always try to like tell like kind of the low key story. I think that relates really well where it wasn't just like completely direct, like you were talking about how like originally you wrote it from the perspective of the actual Confederate soldier, but then in order to kind of make it a little lighter and a little more accessible, you went from like the statue's perspective.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, with the way that like Star Trek tackled racism and the Vietnam War, which was currently happening while Star Trek was on the air, they had to do it in a very low key, kind of lighter, accessible way. Wow, you're good at this. See? Full circle, yeah. I mean, that's 3 White Claws deep, and I'm getting deep. It is a similar way of approaching it. Using comedy or using like sci-fi or using whatever, like, just like the general art of storytelling. Yeah. To sort of like relay these messages, like even if they have like strong like political undertones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I guess in a way I'm just like the creator of Star Trek. You are the Gene Roddenberry of stand-up. I'm sure that's going to be probably the greatest compliment. Like it's going to just put that on my head. Just put that on my headstone. you're going to see your own headstone before you die because you're going to have it pre-made and be like, wait, who's Gene Roddenberry again?
He's the Gene Roddenberry of stand-up comics from Fountain Square. That are moving to Atlanta. Who are also bald and Pakistani and have glasses and kind of a big nose and who are wearing their younger brother's middle school gym shirt. I'm the Gene Roddenberry of those people. Yes, of all those aspects. Yeah. This is my younger brother's gym shirt from middle school, by the way. Comparison. Yeah. I'll take it, man. That's like, I don't get compliments like that every day. No, because our mutual friend Jordan actually described you in that direct way too. I remember. Oh, yeah. What she said, she was like, "Yeah, he's my favorite comedian who currently resides in Fountain Square, who is Pakistani and who is standing at this GPS coordinate at this particular moment." Right now, he's my. That's the biggest compliment you're going to get out of Jordan anyway. So yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. Ooh, she'll feel like a star. Yeah. You look like the way you're sitting, like the way you're situated right now. It looks like you're man spreading. It looks like you're in like couples therapy. and I'm like trying to save your marriage. Which I'm sitting across. I wish your audience could see. Speaking of which, I haven't actually done that yet, surprisingly enough, and I don't have the spinny chair. Dr. Zane. Yeah, Dr. Zane. When I come home, Dr. Zane, Dr. Zanus. Yeah, when I come home from a long, hard day at the comic book store, like really, am I supposed to not get some kind of action from this piece here? I mean, what? He just referred to me as a piece. I get home and he's just a little bitch. Jesus Christ, Mike.
So to that, I would say, Andy, Mike.
I'm not listening to you anymore.
Mike has these concerns.
Don't be an Erica.
All I have to say, no, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help your relationship. Stop being a little bitch and give it up to Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let him get some of that. Let him get some of that. That tight little booty you got there.
Good Lord, Zane.
Edit point.
You know anything about Star Trek and you're talking about my butt. That's 15 seconds of Instagram content right there.
Edit point.
So, let's go ahead and just wrap this up. I'll put that edit point right there.
If we're still like doing the...
Now he's still salty about having to edit 30 episodes.
35.
Whatever. But I do it just with my dog sitting next to me.
36 if you count episode 0.
Ooh, you mean the 10-minute episode we released at the very beginning of all this?
20.
Whatever. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. Zane, we're sorry to see you leaving Indianapolis.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on before I'm glad I was able to come on before I left.
Yeah, and we wish you all the luck you could possibly have in Atlanta.
Thank you, man, and I'll come back and visit.
I was actually hoping you would. That was going to be my next question. Could you come back and visit us?
Yeah, not getting rid of me that easy.
Not be on the podcast because fuck this.
Well, we have nothing left to talk about. This is
you can always watch another episode. You can watch the Mobster episode.
Oh, that's true. But I think also we've exhausted everything I could possibly say to Mike. And even to you.
Don't worry about Mike. We've had more conversations than you've probably even laid eyes on Mike. So, honestly,
I would love to come back.
That didn't make any sense, Andy.
I know. I'm 3 White Claws deep and don't have 0 shits to give anymore.
Edit point.
No, there's no edit points here. But do you have anything else you want to promote? Do you have anything online that you can direct people to follow you?
I have a couple of videos on YouTube. One is called Box Fan Dan.
Oh my god, I forgot about Box Fan Dan.
And the other one is called... I made a little sketch with my friend, hilarious local comic Lucas Waterfill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's called My Stepdad's Closet. So you can look those up on YouTube. Yeah. I think I have a couple of stand-up clips on there.
Twitter,
Zain
Instagram.
Zaidi.
You want to do those?
Sure, yeah.
http://www.myspace.com.
HTTPS if you want a secure, secure server.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want
secure network.
You don't want Russia watching Zane's material.
All
Exactly.
lowercase.
Yeah, go open up Google Incognito, because you don't want any record of this. You don't want this in your web history.
No.
It's basically porn.
It'd basically be porn and Zane. You do not want those two mixing. You do not want the peanut butter and chocolate coming together.
Exactly. All my comedy, all my clips, I'm fully nude in them.
Sweet.
So, yeah, definitely Incognito.
All right.
But yeah, no. Instagram, I'm kidding. I'm fully clothed. For the most part. But my Instagram is Zain Zaidi. And on Twitter, you can find me at Shut Up Zain Zaidi.
All right. Mm-hmm. And with that, we'll just leave it at Shut Up Zain Zaidi.
Deal.
So it's not Zaniac 69 or...
No.
Please tell me it was
No.
That's what he calls his fans.
myspace.com/Zaniac69.
He's not old enough for MySpace.
If you want me to start up one of those, Mike, I'll do it for you. If it makes you happy.
I mean, if he's going over to the Timberlake camp, that's who owns MySpace, part of MySpace now. I didn't know if anybody would get that reference, but I thought I'd explain that. Okay. This is the cold outro.
All right, Andy.
Perfect.
That's a wrap.
Hit stop.
Full stop. Full stop.
Hey, do you miss getting new content from 5 Year Mission? You should head over to patreon.com/5yearmission and check out our Patreon page. As a patron of the band, you will receive access to rare and behind-the-scenes pictures and videos and other cool stuff. You will also have early access to many things, like video releases or new songs. You can sign up for different levels, from Ensign all the way up to Admiral. One of the perks of being an Admiral on 5 Year Mission's Patreon is that you get to be a producer on this podcast. Currently, our producers are Neil Carpenter, Helen Lake, Debbie Rinke, Carol Jones, Becky and Roxy, Steve and Frankie Palopoli, Madison Rachel Jones, and Jim Morehouse. Your name could be on this list if you sign up as an Admiral. So head over to patreon.com/5 Year Mission now. That's the number 5 Year Mission.
Hey Fansets, we sure do appreciate you sponsoring our show each and every single week, and we know you got busy things going on, like Lou's daughter's getting married, so therefore business is shut down for the following week. Anyway, there's all kinds of new stuff that's going to be coming out from fansets.com here very soon, including Dr. Pulaski, Rin, Galrod, General Martok, Guinan, Admiral Vance, Discovery Season 3 Uniformed Michael Burnham, Jet Reno, Vic Fontaine, Zindi Reptilian, Dr. Gillian Taylor from Star Trek 4, and a Monster Maroon Captain Kirk. If you want to order any of those or any of their existing pins from all over the place, Harry Potter, DC, everything, head over to fansets.com, fill up your cart. You can get 10% off your entire order by entering the discount code 5 Year Mission. That is the number 5, all caps, Year Mission, 5 Year Mission. Fill up your cart, love it, wear it, display it, however you want to do it. It's all there just for you. Do it right now. Right now. Now!
Thank you for listening to this episode of 5 Year Mission Podcast. If any of you are interested in listening to more of our music, you can check us out on YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or pretty much anywhere that you can listen to music. Just search for 5 Year Mission and we should be the first thing that comes up. If you would like to contact us in regards to the podcast or anything else that you want to talk to us about, you can email us at 5yearmissionband@gmail.com.
And for more information about the band, you can go to 5yearmission.net. And also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
5 Year Mission, the podcast, is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.